Hi, good morning. Buenos dias. My name is McKenzie Connor, and I am a remote art teacher to Washingtonian students, middle school and high school, and I currently live here in beautiful central Mexico. In this day in the life, we are going to discuss melding your own artistic practice with your art teaching practice. I also will offer lots of amazing tips for student engagement within the virtual world. So excited to get started on this beautiful day. Traveling the world and living in Mexico is one of the best things for my own artistic practice. This country and culture has so much to offer, from rich, vibrant colors to local artisans everywhere I go. It's really inspiring for me, and I do believe that it helps enhance my teaching practice as well, to have more of a cultural awareness to bring to the classroom and to share with my students.
Something that is so important in the virtual art teaching world is to keep our student engagement fun and current. I think one of the downsides to learning and teaching from home is that sometimes we can feel a little isolated, but making sure that our engagement with one another is on a daily basis can be really, really encouraging for our students, especially if they're working on a long art project that's over the course of a week. Having super fun updates and words of encouragement can be so useful. I use this awesome tool called Microsoft Sway to keep a lot of my fun announcements very current and up to date. It can be sometimes challenging teaching from home. As a remote teacher, we have lots of different platforms that we are working with. And because I have so many platforms and so many parties that I'm constantly communicating with, I like to create a Microsoft Sway, which is practically a presentation. But the wonderful thing about this is I can create just one document and I can send this link from the Sway across all my platforms. And then anytime I want to just make a quick tweak or update that particular Sway, I can go to Microsoft Sway and do that myself. And it's very quick and easy, and everything is updated all at once. So across all of the platforms, instantly the new updates are there. So to Microsoft Sway, I can upload, for example, this is a PDF that I am borrowing from the beautiful Art of Education University. Thank you. This is all about student goal setting. And that's a focus that we have for the next couple of weeks with me and my young artists. So I am going to have them work on this worksheet as an extra credit before they start with their next art project, which will be a bit of a longer one. So I want them to be really intentional about the before they start. They get to sketch their ideas and their goals, which is really fun. And then checking in throughout their art project. How is it going? How are they feeling in relationship to their goals? And then a reflection afterwards. I really like this. I'm going to use it for this assignment where the students will be doing a sketch, a self-portrait sketch, 2D, and then they are going to be working on a few steps to then ultimately create a 3D sculpture of a bust, a self-portrait bust. And I think that this particular self-setting goal assessment is going to be really helpful for this, because there are a lot of stages in this process, and having a goal and then checking in throughout the process will be so much fun for them.
Okay, student feedback. Student feedback is so important in the virtual world. The reason why is because we're all so separate, and having us come together in this communication is absolutely crucial for kids to feel like we still care about them and that we are still a part of their daily lives. One tip that I have for all of you virtual teachers out there is varied approaches to student feedback and communication. If your school allows you to place a phone call or a Zoom emails, all of that is really important. I like to try and use as many video feedback opportunities as well as audios for my students because it makes it feel more personal. They can get a better sense of my personality and I to theirs as well. Hi Morgan, thank you so much for your submission. I really enjoyed getting to look at your sketches. Something that I would ask for next time is to really keep in mind your light source. So where is the light coming from? Because that's automatically going to cast shadows somewhere else. So keep in mind where your light is coming from and then try to include more shading, the lightness and the darkness of your object that you see. These were amazing still lifes, and it was really cool for me to get to see your favorite stuffed animal. That was so fun for you to share that part of your life with me. So thank you so much, and please keep up the awesome work, Morgan. You're doing such a great job with your time management, and I can tell you're putting so much effort into your art projects. Something else that I think is really important is being as personal as possible with our kiddos. So making sure we use their first names, making sure that we're always smiling and happy to greet them, and that we take notes of little things about them, about their lives that are important to them, such as in that example there, I was referencing a stuffed animal that a student had done a still life drawing of. Maybe they mentioned at some point that they were going to their grandma's house and so they were stressed with school. Remembering that it was their grandma's birthday and bringing that into the student feedback later can be so important. I also really like to check in with students from not necessarily an academic standpoint, but throughout the week, I like to just do a little check-in and see how they're doing. Mental, emotional check-in, making sure that they are feeling good about their social connections and just how is school going in general. It's so nice for them to have this space, even though it's a virtual space, to connect with other students and with their teachers in this way.
It's self-portrait time, our teacher friends. I am so excited to get to show you one of my favorite activities with my students. And it's such a rich topic to bring into the classroom at pretty much any age. We've been doing a lot of art historical background with self-portraits, and we've been thinking a lot about society, selfie culture, being able to document ourselves and put that information forward. My favorite way to think about self-portraits between 2D and 3D is to create a sketch using a mirror, a self-portrait, and then to go into a sculpture of ourselves as well using air dry clay, since that's something quite easy to do with at-home learning. And then we'll go into a sketch of that sculpture, which is just another added inception layer of the self-portrait adventure. So we like to go over materials and get super crystal clear on everything that they're going to need and every step of the process. Really importantly, especially for at-home learning, they have a very clear list of materials along with optional materials in case they can't get the specific materials needed at home that particular week. So it's very, very, very helpful to have clear materials and to have any young artist be able to raise their hand and say, I don't have this. There's no way that I can get air dry clay in time. So if that's the case, then I always whip out a handy adaptation, such as a salt dough or something really easy that they could create so that they can still practice these sculpture techniques, but with a different material. I always like to start with making a planning sheet for a particular project. This is super helpful to go over with my kids in the very beginning. We like to take a look at this together, and oftentimes I will have them create their very own as I'm doing mine on the video cam. This planning sheet is an umbrella process. We are looking at the three main big steps throughout the weeks. We will then add to our calendar every single baby step that goes into the larger umbrella of the project. And I like to do this together. I like to make sure that there are no questions, and that if there are questions, that we can talk about them together in person. And having the students actually draw this out themselves themselves at home in their own style and their own words is, as we know, so important to remember, retain that information, and to give ownership to their project. This is going to go so great with the Art of Ed document for goal setting. Hi, amazing artists. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know that you are so excited to get started on your art projects. We have already, as you remember, talked about the project itself in big umbrella terms. We've gone over the specifics and we've put it all on our calendars. Of course, we have made our handy dandy planning sheets that have all of our material lists, and you artists are ready to get started. I know that you're itching to start, but thank you so much for taking a pause, thinking break with me right now. It is so important that we stop and set some goals today. So let's together take a look at our goal setting self-assessment sheet that we will fill out. This starts with a before, where we're setting a goal, a during, so maybe next week, and an after. This is when you have completed your entire art project and you are done and you reflect on the entire process.
Okay, it's time to take a little break. I try to take a break at home office about once every hour to work on some personal art practice. It's really nice to have my art materials right here, close, easy access. This is a tip that we learned from this book my partner's reading called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's an awesome book and it's been really inspiring us to have our own design and art practice posted throughout our living and working space as a good inspiration. We have our current projects here, designs and sketches, and it's really nice to have these front and center as reminders to take lots of breaks throughout our workday in order to work on our artistic practice. One of the great perks to my lifestyle is getting to enjoy delicious street food on every corner. For me, it is so important to build in small moments of nature, art, writing, cooking. These are all moments that fuel my day and my own artistic practice. I like to have them throughout my day, sprinkled in, even during the working hours. It's so great for me to take a few minutes at a time even to get outside, breathe some fresh air, or to do some sketching or writing. These little tiny bits of effort towards my artistic practice end up making a big difference in how I show up for my students and show up for myself. One of the great flexibilities to working at home is that I get to move around during my day and choose the areas in which I work. I like to stand in my bedroom. I've created a bit of a standing desk. So we'll take a look right here and I'll show you what the benefits are. Something that I really like is to stand on my yoga mat. The reason why is because if I'm grading art for about an hour or so, I get to take intermediate little breaks and do some stretching on my yoga mat. I also have this beautiful view and big open windows that are so nice to have some fresh air and to feel like I'm still connected with nature in a way. Right now I'm gonna get set up for my meeting.
Okay, I'm here all set up for my meeting with my mentor teacher, which is always something I really look forward to. I try to touch base with my colleagues on a weekly basis, and having a face-to-face conversation is always so helpful. I know that they're always there to support me, even though I'm not in the traditional brick and mortar school environment. It's really helpful to have these Zooms just to connect. Okay, friends, the teaching day is finally done, and now I'm heading up to the rooftop to enjoy some of my own personal art. So come with me, con cuidado, please be careful. It's a little bit of a tricky step. And here you can see we have some beautiful views of the neighborhood and some hills. And it's the perfect time of day for me to get to enjoy this sunset while I get to do a little bit of painting.
Okay, I'm gonna pause here for now. I feel so rejuvenated after building in these small moments of my own art practice throughout my workday. It makes such a big difference for me, and I hope when you try this as well, you will feel more energized and grounded for your students, your family, and most importantly for yourself. I also hope that you enjoyed the student engagement tricks, even when your students are far, far, far away from you physically. If you have not done so already, please be sure to hit like to this video and subscribe to the Art of EdU so you can see more videos just like these. It has been such a pleasure to have you along with me throughout my day. I really appreciate you watching, and until next time, hasta luego y gracias.